we're over here working on Randy's car for a few minutes this afternoon. Figured I would just chunk this into video. There's no reason to make a whole video on it. Basically, if you've seen John's video, they lowered the car down some more and had clearance issues. So I come over here just to help him out for a little bit this afternoon. He didn't really even ask for my help. He just said, sure, right over, you can give me a hand. So I ended up getting the task of cutting all of the wheel wells out. I guess being I'm the one that painted it, I can be the one to mess it up. So we needed to just go in there and cut the wheel wells. We went ahead and cut the lip out on the inside. He ran to the store to get some seam sealer. And we're just going to run a bead of seam sealer back in it so it's not messy. A lot of people will just cut their stuff and never seal it back up, and then you get more smoke inside the car. And if it's a street car, you get water in the car. This one's obviously not going to see water, but it just smoke in the car, man. So if you cut the inside of your lips like this, at least take some seam sealer and, you know, at least clean up the inside of it. Randy has a 79 Fox body pace car. So I know somebody on the channel, I was going to look back in the comments, asked actually they wanted a front bumper off of it. He had somebody offer him $2,000 for the front bumper at one time. He didn't take it. He wants $3,000, he said, for the whole car. There's no suspension, no motor, so it's not really a roller because it doesn't have suspension in it, but all the body panels are there. So everything is there. The front bumper and the front nose, he said, is in mint condition. So he said it's in really good shape. If you need to get out with him, my email address, if you don't have his contact information, my email address is in the description, always, every video. If you shoot me an email, I can give you his phone number directly so that you can contact him. He's located right outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. And again, it's a 79 Fox body that's in really good shape. And he said he'll take $3,000 for it. So just get up with me an email, and then I'll shoot you his contact information. Up. It is, what night are we on? Tuesday night. I'm gonna try to get some more done on this. So I actually have already did a couple little things. I'm gonna catch you up real fast. That was not in the last video. Again, we're just at that point right now where we are doing the check list. We're doing small things. I have notes in my phone of a bunch of small things that need to be done because we don't have a lot of major stuff yet left to do. I almost ordered the drive shaft and I held off on it. And Michael was like, he was like, you probably should order your aftermarket yoke for the transmission just in case it's different than the factory one, because I measured off the factory one. I said, Mike, it should be perfectly fine. It's a slip low yoke. It slides in and out. Shouldn't make a difference. Measurement should be the exact same. He was like, all right, I just hate to see you spend all that money and then it'd be different when you know you got to buy the yoke anyway. So I ordered the yoke. What does it hurt? Guarantee you 99.9% sure it's not going to matter. You get a slip yoke. You can slide it in and out. You can put it anywhere you want it. But just in case for some reason it's shorter and can't be out as that far. How I did mine, just so y'all know, is I pushed it all the way in and then I pulled it out an inch. And that's what I measured universal joint to universal joint center. A lot of them say pull it out 3/4. Some people say an inch. I talked to Chris Kinney with the Night Train. They own Tri-County Transmissions, and obviously they have a really fast car. Chris said I was pretty much on the money. That there's a lot of other measurements, of course, when you're ordering a drive shaft, but general rule of thumb, pull it out an inch, 3/4 if you want to. All right, so underneath here, I have not done much besides we fixed the issue where when it left the shop originally, I had to undo one of these lines because it was hitting on the bolt. Now, some of y'all said, you know, put a set screw back in it, but the problem with the set screw and that is that it irritated me. I stripped the head of it out and basically got pissed off at it. And when I found out what thread it was, I put a bolt in it. That way I could really snug the bolt down. So now, as you can see, I have tons of room. I rearranged the lines, rerouted them, was able to use the same lines, did not have to buy new ones. It does come close to here. They were getting too close to here, so I simply come in here and built a bracket that bolts to the front of the block, and you know, which is zip tied the lines so that they are secure. So now these lines are not freaking going nowhere. They're not rubbing on nothing. They're not going to move around. They're nice and neat. They're secure. They're not going to get into the harmonic balancer or anything. So these lines are still just hanging. They're coming out of the car. Besides that, you know, we moved our water pump over here. I've got to build this radiator line, this lower one, but I was kind of waiting, since I'm going to build that one or change the fittings. I'm hoping not have to cut. I was waiting to get these in so that I can go ahead and route them. That way, if this needs to be moved that way or rotated and it changes that, I'm not having to do that twice. So we're going to hold off on that. Let's see here. We need to paint this under here. We've got all the fittings in the pan. Oh man, we are good, dude. We are good. We've got to nut and bolt the whole car too. Whenever it is finally all together, we're gonna take it to Mike's one night. Hopefully out there to his house. He's got a bigger garage in his backyard, and I'll just bring it to him probably, and we'll go through and nut and bolt this whole thing. We need to grease the ball joints and everything. Man, look at the angles of them control arms. Man, that is beautiful. I told y'all that this car was right whenever I first built it, and now it is back right with these 2-inch drop spindles, so I'm loving it. So we are up to date, I think. I didn't do a ton of filming this weekend because, you know, changing out these spindles. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch that video. Let me get at it. I don't know what I'm gonna tackle yet tonight. Need to get these wheels back off and mount the limiters on there and the shock sensors. So maybe I will do that tonight, or maybe we will do something else, but I'll update y'all. All right, so got our limiter on. So I just went ahead and welded, because I'm not a welder, dude. I welded this side and top side and bottom, just so it will hold here at the house, and then we'll let Mike finish the back side of it up when it's up on the lift, so we can weld from there. So I'm not trying to lean around and splattering any more freaking crap with this Harbor Freight welder than I have to. But at least them are done now. I checked it when it was full droop, and I still have plenty of room, and then this is fully compressed and we still have tons of room, so that's gonna be nice. Now we can finally, it'll make it a little bit easier to get off of the crib blocks, because we can put the limiters on it now so that it doesn't droop so low. So I'm gonna move on trying to figure out the shock sensor now. All right, so I come over here to try to figure out how I was gonna mount this, if I was gonna mount it off of like this plate and into here, and I was like, all right, hold on, we're getting a little messy, a little tacky. Why not just use these bolts just like we did on the back of the car, where we weld, you know, bolts on the end of these bolts. That way they're doubled up. It serves the same purpose. Of course, it will be on the head of the bolt, not on this side, but we'll do the same thing where we weld these little guys to the head. I'll take them to the shop, all 4 of them, let Mike weld them up. We'll put them back through. That one's gonna have to be cut down a little bit to clearance it, but it's no big deal. That way our shock sensors are extremely close. So now one thing on this car is we are running 4, 1 on every single corner. Randy has 1 on the front, 1 on the back, and he told me that, you know, you technically only need 1 in the front, 1 in the back. And I had never thought about that, and that's true, because, you know, it will read the spread on the car and it will read the spread on the front. But I had already bought 4, and so instead of only putting 2 on, I was like, no, I want to put 4 on, because if this wheel hits a bump and that one does not in the track, you know, you'll be able to see that there's a bump on this side of the track, not that side of the track, you know, or the same way if the rear end twist, you know, like you have, what is it, G-body shuffle or whatever, you know, where some cars twist more on the other, you'll be able to read that the separating is not separating equal on both sides, that it's, you know, it's off, you know, and then that could be the reason, you know, that could show you the reason why you're pulling to the left or the right is maybe, you know, maybe it's not something in the front end, maybe the car's just twisting and kind of making it, you know, go right or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, rambling. But we're going to run 4. That way I can read every single corner of the car, and I will always know what's going on every single corner of the car. It will be wired for 4. It'll be there. It'll be done. If I want to unplug them and take them off for some crazy reason in the future, then I can. So got that solved. Move on to this side, break this side down, weld the limiter on this side, so that's done, and move on to the next side. So I'm going to go ahead and test this and, you know, lower the suspension just to make sure that everything works, even though it should work. There should be no issues, and that way if there is, I can go ahead and make changes. that's what my plans were. So I was lowering it, and all of a sudden I heard a loud pop. Now, I'm going to show the good, bad, and the ugly on this channel. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. Oh my God. Look at that. So it literally just tore my tab right off. This looks like a me weld. So I'm going to blame this on Michael, that it looks like he did not go back over my work. Actually, he did not, dude. I'm pretty sure Mike did not go back over my work. That's literally just a tack weld on that side. This is not burnt in all the way across the top, because you can see body filler all the way up to it. So when we did the front end, either Mike missed it or I didn't tell him. Let's see here. I'm trying to look upside down. Yeah, it looks like literally just a tack weld on that side and nothing. It don't feel like nothing but body filler. It might be a little weld. No, that feels just like body filler. So it looks like that was, no, that's seam sealer from where I seam sealed the edge, literally. Wow. So there's a fail. That did not get welded as it was supposed to, and it got painted right over. But it's a good thing, because now we are going to put in an order real fast. I have a better idea. We are now going to go straight up to this bar. You know, I was always in question about that thing. If you've listened to some of the other videos in the past, I said that it might work, it might bend it, it might not. Who knows? But it definitely is not going to hold when it's not even freaking welded. Come on, Mike. So yeah, but we're going to order a clamp real fast for this bar. Steel one that we can weld to. And then, you know, we will rebuild our bracket off of it like that, where it goes to it, and it will be perfectly fine with no issues. So the one I'm gonna put in the order for is the same ones I used in here. I actually was gonna order some more back here. So it's these style clamps. I mean, that's solid steel. It's thick as crap. So it will hold amazing. We're gonna actually redo these. I'm gonna put 2 clamps, one on each side, so that the seat has 2 supports going into the back of it, because I'm making some safety changes. I actually might just unbolt them tonight and modify them real fast and go ahead and get that in, if that's the same tube size, which I'm pretty sure it is, since I don't need seats right now, and then I'll put in them orders. Let me do that, actually. That's a good idea. Well, as always, things don't go my way. The clamps off of the inside of the car are 1 3/4 inches, and these are 1 5/8 inches underneath the car. So we are gonna have to put in an order real fast on eBay for some of them steel clamps for 1 5/8 inches. I can go ahead and do the other side while it's not broken. I go ahead and mount that tab on there, and that way I can go ahead and take the bolts out and still take the bolts to the shop and get Mike to weld them on there, because that's not going to change. We're still going to put the shock sensors off of the head of the bolts, and everything else will work perfectly fine. So we're going to put in an order for them clamps, put in an order for 2 more clamps for the cage, because we're going to upgrade the way the back of the seat is mounted to make it a lot more stronger. And then I guess it'll probably be, they might come in this week. It's only Tuesday, but I doubt it. It'll probably be next week before we can now get these done. But it's better to find this stuff now than when we would have got it together and went down the track and then it tore off, which it would have never made it, because the first time that it was off jacks and it tried to droop, it would have popped. But let's get the other side welded up and get this order in. All right, so we got the other tab welded up in there. You probably can't see it over there. Yes, I use towels to cover up my shocks. So when you're welding, somebody pointed out in the video in the forelink, and I never thought about it, is, you know, you can have one of them little BBs off of the weld, little slag things, pop over and stick to the, whatever it's called in the shock, the actual rod, okay, that goes into the shock body. And then when it goes down into the body of the shock, it could tear all the seals, causing the shock to leak. I never thought about that. So thank you for pointing that out. I'll never again weld near shocks without covering them up, especially expensive ones, because I didn't think about it. So I use a towel, and just be careful. Weld, check it, make sure it's not on fire. I caught it on fire twice, but it's just for a second, you know, like right there. Little fire there. And then we burnt a hole in that one down here. These are shop towels though, so You just gotta be careful, or you can just wet the towel. Me and Mike's done that at the shop before. Towels are probably not your best bet to be welding with. You should buy a welding blanket and have, you know, one available. I actually have some old like welding chaps, like chest chaps at the shop that I really should bring to the house, because they never get used at the shop because we do messy stuff at the shop normally. But I should really bring them to the house for stuff like this, because they would have worked perfect around that since they're real leather. But got tab welded on, put in the order for the clamps, texted Mike, told him he was fired, sent him the pictures. He plastered blame onto me because he said you can see where there's body filler and seam sealer, where I literally went over top of it and didn't even point out that it wasn't welded. So my defense, I probably in the moment thought he welded the bottom and I was just seam sealing the top. Wasn't even thinking about it. It was probably hot. I don't like being at the shop working on this thing, so I'm always trying to head to the house. That's gonna be, I think, it for tonight. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna try to go inside, not work too late tonight. I'm not gonna try to push myself since we don't have a ton to do. And then tomorrow night, get back out here. We still need to put this guy in. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow night, get underneath the dash, put that in, and see what else we have to do. So there's your update. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks, y'all.